Welcome back, friends. Today, we're going to talk about how you can sort of gauge whether you are likely to be getting basic nutrition on a food stamp budget. This is the Thrifty Food Plan channel on YouTube, where you can find frugal food budgets, grocery hauls, and meal plans using the USDA Thrifty Food Plan. That plan serves as the basis for the federal food stamp program, also called SNAP benefits. And the plan is something that we use a lot on this channel in terms of setting my weekly or monthly grocery budgets for myself and for my daughter, the college phenom, when she is with me. Something we talk about less here is what that budgetary guidance can tell us about nutrition. And that's really the focus today. So, the USDA Thrifty Food Plan, which is sort of the basis for food stamps, SNAP benefits in the United States, basically says that we should be spending 14% of our money on dairy, 25% on protein, 16% on grains, 14% on fruits, 24% on veg, and 7% on miscellaneous. Generally, if you are spending these amounts as you are putting your grocery baskets together every week, you are much more likely to be meeting the basic nutritional needs of the people that you are feeding. So let's talk a little bit about what's in each of these categories. So, dairy is milk, yogurt, cheese, plant alternatives. So for me, that's soy milk. Protein foods, pork, steak, chicken, seafood, eggs, nuts, seeds, tofu, and plant alternatives for the vegans among us. Grains include things like rice, pasta, bread, tortillas, cereals, oats, crackers, other whole grains like farro or quinoa. The fruit category only includes whole fruits and 100% fruit juices. So, like Capri Suns do not count as a fruit. 100% fruit juices and whole fruits, a whole apple, a whole berry. Sorry about that. And then the veg category includes greens like spinach, red and orange vegetables like carrots and bell peppers. For vegans like me, this category, and for everyone, this category also includes beans, peas, lentils. Veg includes starchy vegetables like potatoes and sweet potatoes, as well as other vegetables, kind of eggplant, artichoke, those sorts of things. And then according to the USDA Thrifty Plan, we should only be spending 7% of our grocery allotment on miscellaneous items. And these are like prepared foods. So if you buy a frozen pizza, coffee and tea, fats and oils, that's like butter, olive oil, cooking spray, condiments, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, for me, tahini. Other foods, sweet treats. I usually get the phenom some sweet treats. I always have a piece of chocolate. And then also drinks that are not water or milk fall into this category. So sodas, seltzers, teas, like sweet tea kind of things. So these are sort of the categories and what falls within them. And again, if we spend if we spend in alignment with the percentage recommended by the USDA, it is far more likely that we are going to get our nutritional needs met. So let's talk about my grocery spends. From my budgets run from the 26th of each month to the 25th of the next month, just because of how I get paid. So for what I would call the month of August, I went through all of my grocery receipts, put everything into the right categories. I've linked a copy of that spreadsheet below. Just to give me a sense if how I spent my money is likely to make sure that the college phenom and I are having basic nutritional needs met. And this is what I found. There were some surprises. So I only spent 6% of my total dollars on dairy. This is not a super huge surprise for me because I am a plant-based vegan. And the college phenom who does eat dairy is only with me part of the time, but I certainly, according to the guidelines, underspent on dairy. I also underspent on protein foods, certainly bought some meats and seafood and that sort of thing for the phenom who does eat protein. I felt a little better about being under here because it turns out that I actually overspent comparatively on veg. And that makes sense because as a plant-based vegan, I should be spending more in the veg category because that's where beans and legumes, all of that stuff falls. So I think that this somewhat balances it out. Shocking to me is how little I spent on grains. I only spent 2% of total dollars on grains. And again, this was a real surprise for me. My actual spend on fruits was 20%. So one out of every $5 I spent during the month of August went to fruit. Again, an overspend here doesn't really surprise me because I am a whole food plant-based vegan and I do eat more fruits and vegetables than most people do. The most surprising thing to me, though, is that I spent 28% of all dollars on miscellaneous. I'm only supposed to be spending 7% on that. So this was super, super surprising to me. One note here, this does not add up. All the percentages don't add up to 100%. That's both because of rounding and because of taxes, just FYI. So what can I learn from the USDA Thrifty Plan as I try to make sure how I am spending money increases the likelihood that my nutritional needs and those of my daughter are being met? So obviously grains is a concern area for me. That dollar, I spent $1.50 on cereal in the month of August. That actually was 2 boxes of cereal because of the coupons I had. I did buy corn tortillas and I got a box of nut thins for free because I had a grocery store coupon for a free box. And I also looked back at the meal plans and we were eating some items we already had in the pantry, like rice. That said, I don't think I'm eating enough grains. And so my action item, right, is definitely need to be eating more grains because I think that I'm probably at a deficit there nutritionally. My miscellaneous spending clearly out of control. I spent like $48 of everything I spent in the month of August on miscellaneous items. And again, this stuff doesn't have real nutritional value, right? It's like condiments and sweets and oils and all that kind of stuff. Really not high nutrition items. So when I kind of analyze them and put them into categories, I spent $10 on seltzer. I spent almost $14 on coffee. I drink coffee every day. I'm not willing to give up my coffee, just not. I also love to have that one piece of chocolate every day. We did have a bunch of baking items, some of which should last a month or more. So like baking soda, I'm not going to use a whole box of baking soda. That'll probably last a couple months. Same thing with baking cocoa. Also got the Phenom some sugar-free baking chips, which again should last her at least until she leaves for college later this month. Only spent 39 cents on seasonings and spices, so I'm not too worried about that. I did get tricked into buying ice cream. I bought like 2 things of Haagen-Dazs and a thing of sorbet because it was quote unquote on sale, but that was $7.77 that I did not need to spend, no nutritional value. And then if y'all watch my hauls, you know I do pick up some candy or sweets for the Phenom just as a treat for her. So as I think through how to rein in my miscellaneous spending, which I clearly need to do because no nutritional value here, just pleasure items in many ways. So I need to reduce or find cheaper seltzer, coffee, and chocolate. If I can reduce those costs, that will go a long way. Only buy baking items when I really, really need to replace them. And of course, absolutely no ice cream. And once the college phenom leaves, I really won't be buying any sweet treats. Those are largely for her. I will keep buying my bar of chocolate, but I think the candy and sweet treats will go by the wayside naturally. So just a reminder, it may be worth sort of going back and looking at your grocery receipts and figuring out what percentage of your spend is in which category, because it can be an indication that you're not getting sort of your basic nutritional needs met. I clearly need to be eating more grains, and I clearly need to be spending more of my money on areas outside of the miscellaneous category in order to increase the likelihood that my nutritional needs will be met. So thank you for visiting Thrifty Food Plan. We do release new videos every Thursday. Frugal budgets, frugal grocery hauls, frugal meal plans. Hope to see you again on Thursday. Please hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks so much for coming.